Hi, welcome. Again, my name is Dr. Healy. Today we're going to do something a little different, a little more personable. Today I'm here with my beautiful wife, Erin. As you can tell, we're a little pregnant. She is 28 weeks, pretty much today. So we want to discuss and kind of tell you guys our kind of pregnancy journey together and how we decided to come about how we want to have the birth go, and some issues that may have come up with her health or pain that she's been dealing with, and how we have resolved them. And so sit back and just kind of listen, and then finally at the end we're going to give her a nice adjustment, because that's a big part of our birth plan is getting treated. So I'm going to segue to her and go for it, honey.
Oh, okay. So this is baby number 2, and so this is a VBAC. And if you don't know what a VBAC is, it's a vaginal birth after cesarean. So there's a lot that goes into trying to get that VBAC to happen, because we're not only going for a VBAC, but we're going for an unmedicated VBAC. And so with the first baby, I definitely had some complications. I had very late stage preeclampsia, and I wasn't super mobile with that one. I had a lot of sciatica, and so it's definitely something we want to avoid this time. And so there's a lot of physical, mental, and spiritual preparation going on. So we've got a great birth team.
Yep.
We've got awesome midwife. Shout out to Blessings and Abundance. And then an awesome doula, Layla from Devotion Doula and Yoga here in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And then obviously having chiropractic as part of our team to get us there.
Yeah, and we've really kind of worked together to figure out who we need. Erin's been great and done a ton of research and watched a lot of documentaries, read a lot of books, and I'm just along for the ride because she's the one that's going to be toughing it out, and it's been awesome. I want to preface this by the first pregnancy was 8 years ago, so our bodies have changed quite a bit since then, and our minds have changed too on what we believe is right for our kid and going forward. What kind of hesitations do you have when it comes to having that VBAC at home?
It's more of what we've been programmed to believe, that birth is a medical event, right? Mm-hmm. That it's not something natural and normal that we can do, and it's the empowerment. And with the last birth, I definitely felt like birth was happening to me and wasn't happening for me. And one of the things that attracted me so much to it was being able to feel empowered and to and have that experience the oxytocin. If you read Ina May's book, she's obviously the most well-known midwife. We're super lucky here in Orlando. We have Jenny Joseph just across the street from us. She's internationally known midwife, and just speaking to these women who have seen birth, and they promote unmedicated, just natural birth for low-risk women. It's a game changer. It takes me from feeling like I'm on the roller coaster to I'm driving the car, and I'm in charge of my body.
That's awesome. Okay. You had mentioned the kind of issues you had with your first pregnancy, with the sciatic issues and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about the issues that you're dealing with this one. It's a little bit different. Maybe she's been dealing with some hypotension and other things. And how have you gone about treating that and being proactive about making sure that those symptoms are as little as possible?
Yeah. So obviously we'll preface this by saying make sure you check with your healthcare provider. This is not medical advice. This is just our story and what we're dealing with and how we've chosen to deal with this. So first trimester was super hard for me. I have terrible morning sickness. If you look up in WebMD pregnancy symptoms, I have every single one of them. We called the couch my new habitat for about 13 weeks. And so once I was up and mobile again, of course that meant there was no exercise going on during that time, just adjustments as needed. And I very quickly started developing hypoglycemia first. And that made me feel like flu-ish in the middle of the day, like I couldn't function, and I knew I didn't have the flu. And so my midwife advised to increase my protein and to eat every 2 to 3 hours. And so that really led me down to the brewer's diet, which was designed by a doctor in the 1940s and 50s. He extensively studied preeclampsia and eclampsia at a time when women were dying from eclampsia left and right, and found out that what we need is actually a high protein diet in order to combat that. And we actually do need some sodium. So we've been doing that. And it's really hard.
Yeah. You're good. You're great at it, though.
Well, thanks. And my diet's pretty clean. I don't eat processed sugar. I don't drink milk, but I will eat cheese. So it's lots of cheese, lots of nuts, lots of eggs. And then I also started around 20 weeks, I think, started developing hypotension. So all of a sudden, my heart rate increased. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I just blamed it on pregnancy.
Yeah. And frankly, it was very scary. I was fortunate enough to be home. I had just gotten done with a run. She had called me. She's like, I'm not feeling that good. I'm like, okay. So I got home, got into the kitchen, and I brought her some water. And then she was in her office working at the time. She walked out into the kitchen holding 2 glasses. All of a sudden, I'm at the counter, and she literally drops both glasses. I hear them smash on the ground. And as she's falling, fortunately enough, I was close enough and I caught her. And that could have been really bad if she would have fallen. She could have hit her head on the counter. It was terrifying for me, actually. So right then, I'm like, lay on the couch, we're calling the midwife, what is going on? And then now I guess I can transition to you.
We ran blood work, made sure there wasn't anything else going on. And the bottom line is my blood pressure is just dipping. And so I'm still experiencing that now at 28 weeks, but we're managing it. And so one way we're managing it is through electrolytes. So I don't like coconut water at all. I wish I did. I only like coconuts and pina coladas, and I can't have those right now.
And margaritas.
And so I don't want to drink the sugary processed electrolyte drinks. So I found this awesome, really clean electrolyte drink called Ultima. That's fantastic. Whole Foods carries it. You can get it on Amazon. And then we also decided that I need to increase my protein, right?
Even more. How many grams of protein is your goal?
I'm trying to eat on average 70 grams, so I try to stay in a 60 to 80 grams of protein. But I noticed 70 to 80 is a sweet spot for me.
And if she goes below that, or she doesn't eat enough, like in the morning, that hypo blood pressure, that low blood pressure is going to hit about midday, and she's crashing for 2 to 3 hours until her body gets some food and then digests that food, and then she can finally get back to her normal energetic self.
Yeah. And something else has been a huge help, because if you look for protein powders or protein bars, they're filled with junk and fillers, right? And we try really hard to eat a whole food diet. So his mom actually found these awesome bars called IQ Bar, and they're keto, they're dairy free, they're soy free, they have no sugar in them. They do have stevia, but I actually don't like the taste of stevia, but I can't taste the stevia in them, so that's awesome.
Yeah. And I even like them. I'll sneak in. I usually try to save most of them for her, but I'll go and I'm like, I want a snack every once in a while.
That's been, because it has 12 grams of protein in it. So that, like, in and of itself has been huge. So breakfast is like lots of eggs, cheese, meat, nuts throughout the day. And smoothies are huge help. So, because the brewer's diet is all encompassing. You're supposed to have its whole foods, its vegetables, its fruit. So it's been huge.
Let's transition now a little bit to the pain that you're dealing with. That you have. So we went through the hypoglycemia, high blood pressure, and now talk about the pain, the back pain that you've been dealing with.
Yeah, and I do think that I'm dealing with some pain, but it's not as much as my first. And the other thing that we're doing too is the supplements, right? So obviously we have a really good prenatal. I have MTHFR, and so I have to
explain to them what that is.
Yeah, I'm not going to try.
It's pretty much a DNA mutation that can predispose her to different ailments with maybe certain types of medicines, vaccines, that sort of thing.
Sure. So I can't take regular folic acid. So I have to take a methylated folate. So I have a prenatal vitamin specifically for that. And because of that, my B vitamins tend to not absorb either. So I have to take something with a little higher B vitamins than I typically would.
Yeah.
And then we read this really cool book. We didn't get pregnant fast.
Yeah.
I'm advanced maternal age. And so we read this really cool book called It Starts with an Egg. And so they have all the scientific evidence-based research about the supplements that can help you get pregnant and things that you should stay on and things you shouldn't.
And legitly, like a week later, she was pregnant.
Yeah, it wasn't quite a week.
Maybe two.
It was like the next cycle.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
So
okay.
it was great. And so definitely taking CoQ10, which is also, there's evidence that it reduces the rate of preeclampsia. NAC, which has a very long name and I can't pronounce it, but that's supposed to be very helpful for your immune system as well. And then we're doing fish oil.
Yep.
So that's huge, those omegas.
Yep, and make sure they're omega-3s. You do not want 6s or 9s, you want omega-3s, because omega-3s are the anti-inflammatory. Omega-6s and 9s are more of pro-inflammatory. So we want to decrease as much inflammation around the body as we can.
Yeah, and especially with me being 37 and pregnant, I don't have that many aches and pains, and I definitely think the fish oil is a big part of it, but I can't eat fish right now. Fish has been kind of like my one food aversion that I've had consistently, which stinks. But
she loves sushi, so.
I do love sushi, and I love seafood because we're in Florida. It's great seafood. So, and then obviously a really good probiotic. Women who are pregnant, like we all know, you're constipated, you're taking iron in your prenatal.
Yep.
And so I think the adjustments help with that too. But I think that's all the supplements that we have me on right now.
I think so. We've been adjusting her at least once a week in the beginning. We transitioned to more, almost 2 to 3 times a week. Just because for her job, she does sit quite a bit at a computer and things tend to tighten up. We're really focused on trying to do a lot of exercises as well to prepare and get her body strong for this birth, and so the recovery is better. So she's done a lot of stretching, she's done a lot of squats. Our goal is like 100 squats a day, but we get to like 30-ish.
50 on a good day.
Yeah, because her body needs to be strong. It's a huge physical event for her, and so it's going to be, we need a lot of endurance, and that recovery is going to be so much better if you can keep your body in shape.
Yeah, and I'm walking 1 to 2 miles a day.
Yep.
I prefer to. And then we've stayed active. We have an 8-year-old, so we go and we went camping just a few weekends ago.
Yeah.
Walked 6 miles in St. Augustine. So
it was 4.
I think it was 6. It felt like 6. But with all that activity too, I start realizing how limited I am, because I can go, and then I get home and I'm like, oh my goodness, now I remember I'm pregnant. So definitely the hip pain, and that's like at night, you have to lay on your side after a certain time. And because second baby, I showed really fast, and so I felt like I had to be on my side early on. I have a great pregnancy pillow. It's the one that is on both sides. So
yeah, takes up the whole bed. I got like this much.
That helps a lot, but I still wake up very sore and stiff in my hips, and especially sometimes you end up twisted. And then definitely the upper to mid back pain.
Yep.
From carrying all this, and then the pelvis pain. The pelvis pain is pretty intense sometimes, and the midwife says it's just second baby problems. The baby sits lower, but it makes you feel like you're splitting in half sometimes. And
your body is growing and positioning itself so it's in the right position to deliver that child. So that's another reason it's extremely important to get adjusted through your pregnancy, so that pelvis and that is in the right position, so then that baby can kind of smoothly slide out there as best it can.
Yeah. And I haven't had sciatica.
Nope, there has not been one issue with that.
Sciatica this time. I dealt with carpal tunnel the first time. I haven't had any of that going on.
Yep.
So I think overall, I'm not going to say it's been pain-free, but the pain has been drastically reduced. I feel better now at 37 than I did at 28 when I was less healthy, and especially with it being a second baby who's measuring ahead and all these other things. So I think it's a huge help. And then as we get closer to delivery, I'm guessing we're going to increase adjustments, right?
Yeah, we will. And it's going to be a kind of, we're going to pay attention to her symptoms, but hopefully we can stay consistent enough where those symptoms don't show up. Another thing I think we might want to talk about, maybe on a later note, is the importance of how getting the baby adjusted after it comes out too. So my goal is right after that baby is born, I'm going to adjust that baby. And people get dramatic. It's not like we're cracking them. It's just a couple of little pushes, because it's a traumatic experience not only for the mother but for the child, because it's a small cavern that it's going through, and so the neck gets twisted, and you really want to make sure everything's in line so that immune system, that neurological system can communicate, and so then the baby develops properly. let's transition. Let's get you treated.
All right.
Okay, lay face up, honey. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do for her, I'm going to do some stretching of the hamstrings. We're going to get the glute and the piriformis and that pelvic region. The whole idea, I want to really make sure that she's flexible enough for this birth and make that as easy as possible for her. So just let me know when you feel this stretch, honey. About there?
Yeah.
All right, I want you to push into me. And again, we're going to be activating these muscles like we've done in previous videos to help create that blood flow. With blood flow, it's going to bring that nutrients, and that's just going to help with the healing. Okay, now let's bring this across. All right, tell me when here.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, kick up into me. And so if you're doing this at home, you can wrap a towel around your leg, pull it towards yourself, and then push into that towel while holding it. Good. And same thing with this. Wrap towel around here, pull it towards yourself. Tell me when.
That's good.
And push towards me. And I want to preface this by saying my wife is the worst patient I have. So we'll see how today goes. All right. Good. All right, push up. Any pain with this?
No.
Good.
I'm just tight.
Really? All right, let's switch legs.
Now this one is the one that has the torn meniscus, so it doesn't
Go as far.
go as far.
Push towards me. It's actually pretty even.
Yeah.
You're just
Feels so
inflexible both ways.
different.
All right. Can we rotate this out a little bit? There we go. Good. Push towards me. Any pain on this side?
No.
Good. Good. Straighten up. Good. Push towards me. Good. All right. Last one here, and then we're going to get you adjusted. Push up. All right. So stay there. We're going to get your neck adjusted first, okay? Okay. All right, we're going to move this one here. For her, I have to stretch her all the way over because she really likes to fight it. And here. Good. And then here. So we just have to play games with her. Bring it all the way over, keep back and forth. Okay, she's trying to stiffen up. So I want you to push your head down to my hand. That for a few seconds there. All right, now bring it all the way over. Good. Wonderful. All right, can I have you lay on your side and face me? All right, that's good there. All right, give yourself a hug. So we're bringing this leg up as basically as far as we can until we hit this little belly here. So breathe in and stretch it all the way out. There it goes. Switch sides. Legs here. Breathe in and out. There. Okay, come on up. All right, let's do the backpack now.
Good.
Okay, swing feet this way. Okay. This is her favorite adjustment. All right, hands behind your head. Here, here. Lean back and all the way out. All right. Awesome. Now she's nice and straight, ready for today.
Feel great. So excited.
Fantastic. Guys, I really appreciate you listening to us and watching our story here today. Please click the subscribe button below if you like what you see, and we'll catch you next time.